It was a cold, stormy night in a small town just outside Manchester, UK. Heavy rain poured down from the dark sky, and thunder echoed across the empty highway. The road was slippery, and visibility was almost zero. Most drivers were rushing home, trying to escape the terrible weather. But one man was riding straight into it. His name was Daniel Carter, a 34-year-old delivery biker. He wore a black waterproof jacket, thick gloves, and a scratched helmet that had clearly seen many long nights on the road. Daniel wasn't a hero. He was just a hard-working man trying to earn enough money to support his sick mother, who depended on him every single day. That night, he had just finished his last delivery. His phone buzzed with a message from his mother. "Drive safe, son. The weather looks dangerous tonight." Daniel smiled softly under his helmet. "Don't worry, Mom. I'll be home soon." He started his motorcycle and slowly rode onto the highway. The rain kept getting heavier, hitting his helmet like tiny stones. Streetlights flickered, and the sound of thunder made the night even more frightening. Suddenly, Daniel noticed something strange ahead. Cars were speeding toward a narrow bridge, but the road looked darker than usual. Something felt wrong. He slowed down. Then, in a flash of lightning, he saw it. The bridge ahead had partially collapsed. A large section of the road was missing, swallowed by the river below. Broken concrete and twisted metal hung dangerously in the air. Anyone driving at full speed would fall straight into the water. Daniel's heart started pounding. Oh no, people don't see it. Headlights were approaching fast from the other side. Without thinking twice, Daniel turned his motorcycle sideways in the middle of the road. He switched on his hazard lights and began waving his arms desperately. The first car slammed on its brakes just inches away from him. A middle-aged driver rolled down his window and shouted angrily, "Are you crazy? Move your bike." But Daniel kept shouting back, "Stop! The bridge is broken. Turn around." The driver looked confused at first. Then lightning struck again, lighting up the broken bridge ahead. His face turned pale. Oh my God! Within minutes, more cars began to arrive. Some drivers were frustrated, honking loudly. Others thought Daniel was blocking traffic for no reason. Rain soaked his clothes, cold wind made his hands tremble. But he refused to move. For nearly 30 minutes, Daniel stood in the pouring rain, waving cars back and warning every driver who approached. Finally, police sirens echoed through the storm. Officers quickly blocked the road and inspected the damaged bridge. One of them walked toward Daniel, shaking his head in disbelief. "You saved dozens of lives tonight," the officer said. Daniel removed his helmet slowly. Water dripped from his hair and exhaustion showed on his face. "I just did what anyone would do," he replied quietly. But the officer knew the truth. Not everyone would risk their life in the middle of a storm to save strangers. The next morning, the story spread across social media. Local news channels called him the rainy night hero. People shared photos of the soaked biker who stood alone in the storm, protecting others without expecting anything in return. A few days later, Daniel received an unexpected letter. It was from a family who had been driving toward the bridge that night. Inside the envelope was a photo of two small children smiling in the backseat of a car. The message read, "Because of you, our children are still alive. Thank you for being our hero." Daniel stared at the photo for a long moment. His eyes filled with tears. That night, as he parked his motorcycle outside his small home, his mother opened the door and hugged him tightly. "I saw the news," she whispered. "I'm proud of you." Daniel smiled gently. He wasn't famous, he wasn't even trying to be a hero. But on one dark, rainy night, he made a choice that saved lives. And sometimes that's what real heroes do. They stand in the storm, so others can make it home safely.